Hi everyone, I'm Anne Frost, host of the I Thought I Knew How podcast, here to share some tips and ideas for those of you who are thinking about choosing different colors for your project as you join me and my co-host Jana of the Purl Together podcast for the knit along coming up on January 1st, 2020 to knit any of the Harriet's collection patterns being sold to benefit the Shetland MRI scanner appeal. Earlier, I produced a video recommending 3 different yarn options to knit your project. This video will be about choosing appropriate colors so that they blend where you want them to blend and pop where you want them to pop. Before I go any further, I want to let you know that we have been working with a yarn shop called Needlepointjoint. They are offering kits in the standard colors as well as 3 other color combinations. If you add one of those kits to your cart and use the coupon code Harriet MRI, they will give you 10% off your entire order. So not only will you get 10% off your kit, but anything else you add to that order will be 10% off. I will stick the link for that in the notes for this video on YouTube. And you should also be able to find the link in the Maakin for the MRI thread in the Purl Together and I Thought I Knew How Ravelry groups. Harriet Middleton designed the patterns using the colors from the Appeal logo, and most people do tend to buy the recommended yarn in those colors, but maybe you aren't fans of blue or you want to replace one of the accent colors, or you're hoping to knit from your stash and you'd like some help figuring out which yarn to substitute where. The easiest way to start getting some inspiration would be to hop over to Instagram and search for the hashtag Harriet's Hat. These patterns were first released in May of 2019 and people have been knitting loads of them. Taking the time to look at what others have done should get your creative juices flowing. And most people who post their projects to Instagram are going to be happy to share information about it. So if you see one you like and they haven't already listed the colors that they used or the yarns that they used, just comment and ask them, and I'm sure they're going to help you out. If you would like to pick your own colors, one way to do that would be with the help of the Photos app on your phone. So start with a photo of the actual recommended colors. And I will put that up on the screen here, and I will also put it in the show notes in the Ravelry group. Then go to your Photos app and select the options to edit the picture. Change the color settings in there to make the picture black and white. When you do that, you'll be able to focus on the value of the tone of the colors involved. In other words, you'll be focusing on how much darkness or lightness is in the color itself rather than on the color. As you pick colors, do the same thing. Take a picture of the colors you like and make it black and white. Compare the picture of the original colors in that black and white photo with the shades of your variation colors in their black and white photo. You want to get the shades of gray in the 2 pictures to be as close as possible to one another. You'll want to repeat this process with different options until you find colors whose values match those in the original pattern. To get an effect similar to the original, you'd want to pick 4 shades of the same color with values that match the blue shades. So these are the original 4. And then 2 colors that match the values in the white and yellow of the original. Obviously, this would be easier to do if you have the yarn in person. However, one way to make a good guess if you don't have a yarn shop close to you would be to change your monitor settings to black and white while you're doing your online shopping. To find out how to do this, go to YouTube or to Google and search for change colors to black and white and then the name of your operating system. It might be easier to go to the online store first and load up your shopping cart with all the potential colors that you're interested in, and then change your monitor color to black and white so you can then remove the colors whose values don't match up properly with the black and white photo of the original colors. That takes some tech knowledge though. There are other options. Another option, if you're working with yarn from your stash or you can get your hands on yarn in person, would be to arrange them into 2 groups based on how they're used in the pattern. So looking at the photo of Harriet's hat, for instance, we can see that there's 2 shades of blue and a white that are used as the background shades. And then the blue, the light blue, and the yellow that tend to fall in the foreground as the pattern shades. So you're going to want to group them in the same way as you're picking colors. And then take a strand of each of them and twist them together. If you can still see a nice contrast in the twist, then they will likely stand out well in the finished item. To illustrate what I mean, here's an example. I've twisted the Pollen and Ancient Olive from Ashcraft Makers to show 2 yarns that have a good contrast with one another when twisted. So when I knit those in the same row, I'm going to see the stitch definition between the 2. The other twist, we have Jamieson and Smith's Shade 18 twisted with Jamieson of Shetland's Prussian Blue. You don't get the same amount of distinction between these colors as you do with the Pollen and Ancient Olive. That's not to say that the blue colors are bad, just that they probably shouldn't be knit in the same row as one another in this project. A third way to judge would be to cut a bit of cardstock and wrap your 3 potential background colors around it before then wrapping a few strands of your contrasting lighter colors over it and see if the background colors blend well together with your pattern, and make sure that they stand out from those background colors. So I have an example here using, that's the back side, using some of the Morehouse Farm Merino 2-ply. So as you can see, I have 3 neutral brownish shades wrapped around a bit of cardboard that I just cut from the flap of a box in my recycle bin. Those are the 3 colors that I'm thinking about for a black background trio, and they seem to work well together. They're similar to one another and blend well without becoming muddled. Over that, I've wrapped 3 potential yarns for pattern stitches. Now I can take those off and try others until I'm happy with my options, and then I know I have my 6 colors and I can go from there. I hope that these tips have been helpful. Remember, if you're feeling nervous about picking your own colors, you can always knit using the recommended yarns or pick one of the alternate kits put together by the folks at needlepointjoint. Also, please make the use of the hashtag Maakin for the MRI on social media so we can see what you're coming up with for your yarn and color choices as you prepare to cast on January 1st. And join the discussion thread for the knit along in the Purl Together group on Ravelry. You can find Jana's YouTube channel by searching for Purl Together. I Thought I Knew How podcast on YouTube, and you can find my audio podcast by opening any podcast app you use to listen to podcasts and searching for I Thought I Knew How, or you can visit ithoughtIknewhow.familypodcasts.com.